It started like any other night. Drinks were flowing, spirits were high, and hope was alive.
They said it would be different this time.
These 4 brave souls behind me were all set for the perfect game night.
I even laminated the rulebook this time.
They had the games, and they had the drinks.
Can't trade wood for friendship, Karen.
But they made 5 critical mistakes. I can't believe he took my mobile phone off me. Who does he think he is? God! What followed was chaos, betrayal, and the slow disintegration of 4 friendships. Don't let this happen to you, or at least make it out with your games intact.
I'm Boardman Steve, and in today's episode we're going to be going through 5 things to avoid so you don't have a disastrous board game evening. Tip number 1, the sore loser, or even worse, the sore winner. Look, it's okay to get excited when you win a game. Sometimes you play really well and it's cool to be proud of yourself, and part of playing board games, the fun is trying to win and doing your best. And that's absolutely awesome. It's really cool to see people get pop off and be excited. But on the other hand, just don't take it too far and become that obnoxious know-it-all who sits there and tells everybody how they're so much better than everybody, how they played so much better. It's just like, oh, there is few things worse than that player, except for maybe the sore loser who sits there and moans and complains and sucks all the joy out of the air and makes it so it wasn't their fault. Most people just want to sit around and have a good time, and that's why they're there. And like I say, winning is just the cherry on top. If my 9-year-old can win and lose gracefully, then you adults don't have an excuse. And trust me when I say, I've been part of more than one group where we've had a sore winner or loser, and it really has put a dampener on the evening, and it gets to the point where you just don't want to invite that person anymore because they really make the whole experience of the perfect evening just that much worse. Do not be that person. Tip number 2, not knowing the rules of the game that you're playing. This is one of the stupidest things that you can do. If you're hosting the board game night, at a bare minimum, you need to know the rules of the game that you're playing. One of the worst things that I ever did was try to learn Concordia at the table with a bunch of newer players, and we didn't have a clue what we were doing. I got all of the rules wrong. We had an absolute miserable time. It was honestly one of the worst, if not the worst, gaming experiences I've ever had. My nose was constantly in the rule book, and halfway through the game we just completely gave up and stopped playing it, and it got to the point where I thought that game was so bad that I sold it and didn't play it for the best part of 2 years. And now Concordia, after actually learning how to play the game and playing with the same people and bringing it to the table with me knowing and understanding the rules, we had a completely different experience. We absolutely love Concordia. We played it the other night and it was just such a fantastic experience. It is easily one of my top 15 board games of all time, and I want to play that game as much as possible. And it just goes to show you, knowing the rules and not knowing the rules, the different type of experience you can have. Because we played with the exact same people that I tried to teach on the go, and it just shows you how much of a disaster it was compared to when knowing the game inside out and knowing what you're doing. This is one of the biggest takeaways you can take from this video. Just learn the bloody game that you're playing if you're hosting. Tip number 3, mobile phones. For God's sake, if you show up to a board game night, do not go on your mobile phone. This is the one that probably aggravates me the most, especially if I've sat and spent the whole time getting the whole evening ready. I've learnt this board game that we're going to play. I've made sure that everybody's having a nice, comfortable time, and the first thing I see is glance over and you're looking at your mobile phone. It honestly makes me so mad. It's like, are you not incapable of having a quick endorphin rush to look at seeing what somebody's posted on Twitter for 5 seconds just to sit and be part of the room and be part of the collective and the group experience? And as soon as somebody picks up their mobile phone and starts looking at it, it takes them into another place. Look, I know somebody might be taking 25 years to take a turn, and then in that case it's okay to like have a quick look at your phone. I'm not saying it's not okay to glance at your phone and send a message or whatever, but when you get to the point where you're spending like 3/4 of the game just on your phone, why are you even there? It's one of the most egregious things that you can do. It's just like, just put your phone down for 10 minutes. Nothing's gonna happen. that's overly important in you playing a game for an hour, you'll be absolutely fine just leaving it to the side and turning it on silent. Just sit and enjoy the bloody game and have a good time with your friends instead of picking up your phone too much because you're a bloody addict and looking at it every 5 minutes. I used to get really, really bad mobile phone addiction. I remember at one point I was on my phone for like 4 or 5 hours a day, and it was something which I noticed was taking me out of like the environment constantly. So I've completely stopped doing it, and now I look at my phone for maybe 20 minutes a day, and it's completely changed the way that I live my life, because mobile phone addiction now is just to the point where you just constantly see people on the phone. It's really sad. It's like when you go out for a date with your wife and you look at the tables across the side and you just see they're not talking to each other and just too busy looking at the phone. Just put your goddamn phone down and spend some time with the people who you love and care about, because if you don't, you're just wasting your own time and having a good time to sit and look at something that's just not that important. Mobile phones are so good, and that's part of the problem. It's so easy just to get lost into a loop of scrolling, of TikToks and Instagrams or whatever, and you'll find yourself doing it for no reason whatsoever, and you end up just ruining the evening for yourself and for everybody else. It's just not fair, especially for the person who's hosting and have spent the whole evening trying to learn something, just for you to sit and ignore them, and at the end of the game go, oh, you didn't teach me that rule, but it's just like, well, I said 5 times what the rule was, but you were just looking at your phone the whole time. Like, get a grip. This one really, really bothers me. Please don't be the mobile phone user. Tip number 4. The wrong snacks. One of the stupidest things I ever did was serve chicken wings when we were playing board games and Doritos with dips. And I remember the dreaded moment of somebody picking up a Dorito with the dip and just slow motion watching the tomato salsa slowly slide off and hit the table, and me just be like, oh my God, it's went all over my cards. I can't believe that this has happened. Like, snacks for me on game night are an absolute must. Just be smart with what snackage that you use. Don't bring anything too greasy or too saucy. Put some silly B-roll footage on now of me being absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, do not do this. This is a joke. It's not to be taken serious. It's just meant to be a bit of a silly laugh. I laminated my board game to make sure that I didn't get hurt, so don't worry. No meeples were harmed in the making of this video. So the wrong snack can be an absolute disaster, so be clever with your snack game. Tip number 5, being a bad board gamer. I know I've spoke about being a sore winner and loser and using your mobile phones, which come under being a bad board gamer, but I think they deserve their own brackets because those are 2 things that really, really bother me. So here is just some things to avoid to make you a better board gamer and all around a better person. The first thing to avoid is being a rules lawyer. This is something which drives me crazy. I understand you know the rules of the game and you want to beat everybody to make sure that they're playing correctly. That's absolutely fine. But nitpicking the most obscure random rules all the time is just overkill, and it can easily ruin an evening. One of the things that gets me the most that rules lawyers tend to do is, if I'm teaching a game and I'm doing it differently to how they would do it themselves, they'll be constantly hijacking the conversation and trying to take over and backseating me, and there's nothing worse than a backseat driver. If I'm telling the rules, just let me tell the rules. If you want to add something at the end, feel free to, but stop trying to take control of the situation and just let me continue doing it my way. Another thing that drives me crazy when playing board games is the alpha gamer. Especially if you're playing a co-op game, there is absolutely nothing worse than the alpha gamer. Let people make up their own decisions on their turn. Otherwise, just sit and play the board game yourself. Like, why are we even here with you if you just want to take control of absolutely everything? It's why Spirit Island's one of my favorite games ever, because in that game, you actually have to work cooperatively, and it stops people from bloody, again, taking control, backseat driving, and becoming an alpha. Just don't be that person. Another thing that drives me wild is the people who take 37 hours to take one go. Look, man, I understand you want to min-max as much as possible, and you want to have the best turn ever, but when we set up and it's a late night and we want to get the game done in a decent time, please, for the love of God, don't take 27 minutes to take your turn. Just take the best turn that you can. I remember playing Scythe once, and it ended up taking like 4 hours, and we were playing like a 5-player game, and it would be like the first person would go, second person would go, third person would go, fourth person would go, player number 5, we'd have to sit and wait for 5 minutes while they took the turn, and then again it would come back and we'd take our turn within 2 minutes, all of us, and it'd come back to this player, and it added so much time to the game that it was like, I am never playing that game with that person again ever, because it completely ruined the game. Just don't do it. Just swallow your pride and just take, you might not be taking the best turn ever, but like, for God's sake, do you really need to take 7 minutes to take one turn? And finally is, don't abuse other people's board games. The amount of frustration I've had sat across the table looking at somebody holding my £125 game, and they're holding the cards, and I can see that they're slowly bending them like this and then like this, and oh my God, the amount of stress that's caused me is just horrible. Like, remember, some of the games that you're playing are incredibly expensive and they're not yours, and respect other people's property. One of the most important things that you can do, don't be a jerk and ruin other people's games. If you avoid these 5 things, I can guarantee you will be invited to way more board game nights, and your evening will be 10 times better. I hope that you really liked this episode. It was really, really fun to shoot. And just remember, all of this silly stuff that I put in, none of that's really happened. Everybody who I play games with are actually really, really well behaved and nice, and they don't get raged. All of the start and stuff was all just supposed to be just like a little bit of a laugh, and it was really, really fun to film. I had a great time filming this episode. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next episode. I'm Bored with Steve. Heck, gonna give it to you. I don't even know what that was. I apologize.